I introduce myself to some of you guys. My name is Wontel. I used to live out here for like 9 years. I moved to San Diego, but I'm back in town just for a couple of days. So I just wanted to stop by and meet everybody. Been doing beats for like 14 years. Started when I was like 12. Literally watched the music video to Snap Your Fingers and saw little John playing the little 3 notes and was just like, hey mom, can you buy me a keyboard, you know what I mean? And you know, she was like, okay. And so I taught myself how to play piano and literally just every day just started making beats. And so, yeah, this is me. Wontel on the track. This next one, me and Ill Mind, I don't know if you guys know who that is, did this one. So casual.
Damn. Shit, I can't handle much more.
When you were playing that record, what were you thinking?
Yeah, that was so versatile.
Yeah.
Like,
Bro.
you tapped in like every genre.
Yeah.
Like,
I tried to.
Who are you?
damn.
You just show up.
Yeah.
I collab with them and stuff like that.
Not even, man.
Have you guys ever seen that video of like Kanye showing Xaezy beats for the first time?
Yeah.
And he pulls his hat.
Jay-Z.
Yeah.
That was me just now. I was like,
I
oh,
want to make a
Yeah.
Xaezy nasty voice. Like,
dude, that was so good.
You're just in town for a few days, or?
Yeah, my mom lives out here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I just came to visit, see my mom.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But it was funny because literally last night I was like, man, I know some artists out here, but it's just one of those things where I'm not detached, but I'm kind of detached from Boise now, and I haven't been here in like 5 years, and so I was like, you know what? Let me see if there's any events. I know there was some people that used to throw one show like every Sunday, and so I was like, I just looked it up, and I found this literally like 12 o'clock at night. I was
Really?
like, all right, I'm gonna go.
That's awesome.
Dope.
That's really cool. Yeah.
So you need like a roommate or like?
You know, it's funny. I was living in San Diego, and I'm actually gonna move to LA next month, man. And so I'm not necessarily looking for one, but you know, it's kind of me and my homie. We work together, and we're seeing we might need a roommate. We'll see.
Dude, that's so dope. That's so dope.
When you move into LA, like February?
late, like end of.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna give you. I'm sorry, I should context that.
You're literally licking your lips.
I have chapstick. No, I'm gonna be in LA February 3rd, but you're
Okay.
probably not gonna be settled over there by then.
No, I'll still be in San Diego
Yeah.
at that point.
All I
Yeah.
was gonna say is come to the show. God, guys, come on.
Do you know a lot of like San Diego rappers? Like not the super famous ones.
Like there's like name somebody else.
You know John Colarasi?
That I don't know.
No, I didn't think so.
I know Rossi Rock, John Gibbs, who just signed to Interscope a couple of years ago.
Are you signed? How are you doing your thing?
No, I just do it freelance. You know what I mean? But it's kind of what you were asking earlier, like about networking. Like, I really believe, like, networking is really your net worth. You know what I mean? I met, I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. It's called Rapzilla. It's like the biggest Christian hip hop like blog there is, and it's crazy. I literally in 2013, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Atlanta. Just gonna fly out there. I remember asking my mom. My mom's real supportive, and I was like, Mom, I don't have the money at the time. Can you buy me a flight? I was like, that's all I want for my birthday. Don't give me anything else. I'm just gonna fly out there and I'll handle mine. You know what I mean? And literally I go. There's a layover in Phoenix, and I go and start talking to people at the airport. I'm like, I'm bored. I'm just gonna start talking to people. First person I go up to, I recognize the shirt. I just ask him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm the owner and founder of Rapzilla." And I'm like, "Yo, that's crazy." Like I know, like I didn't know who you were, but I know who you are. You know what I mean? Like in the sense of what you look like, and we had the same flight, and I just asked him. It was Southwest, and I was like, "I have a better seat than you. Let me save you a spot, and I just want to pick your brain." Literally from that conversation, I literally got probably about $25,000 worth of work just from that conversation because of networking. And literally like a year later, I ran into him in LA, and he was like, "Hey man, we have a freshman list that we do every year." This was in 2015. He's like, "I want you to produce the whole thing." Yeah, like
Wow.
yeah. So I ended up doing that, and like from that, it just brought me so much work. And I met John Gibbs, who I mentioned. He signed to Interscope. Network with this dude that just recently signed to Def Jam. His name's Caleb Mitchell.
Great.
You know what I mean? And I met him when he was 14. I had to call his dad and like get permission to work with him. It's crazy, but like the whole thing is the worst thing they could say no, and like. You just put yourself out there. Same as Illmind. Like Illmind, I worked with him because of in 2014 he had a internet radio show, and I just sent beats in like.
Blap on the radio?
Yeah, the Blap or Crap, and he literally just played the beat and was just like, "Yo, who is this?" And so I DM'd him. I was like, "I'm going on attack. Like, forget him hitting me up. Like, he might forget after this show, you know." And so like, that just continually nonstop. Just hitting people up on Twitter, Instagram, or in person. Like, even I'm sure you guys know about NAMM, the NAMM show. Like, I didn't think I was gonna get in, but I paid for it, and I made a website, which I should have done a while ago, but I finessed it and I got in. You know what I mean? And so it's one of those things. Like, I don't know who I'm gonna meet at NAMM, but I'm going and I'm making sure that my name is known. You know what I mean? And so that's how I've been able to get my work, and it's truly that phrase of your network is your net worth. I truly believe that to the fullest, 100%.
Crazy. Any goals or big plans for this year? I mean, other than moving to LA, anything you're trying to...
Yeah, I would love a placement with ASAP Ferg.
I like that you're specific.
Yeah,
That's so important, dude. That's how dreams
Yeah,
manifest. People are like, "Oh, I want a big placement," but you're like, "No, I'm gonna get ASAP first."
No, it's real. I paid for the meet and greet, gave him a flash drive. Was like, "Yo, I'm like," you know what I mean? It's one of those things where, for me, I believe in being intentional. you know, that's one of those things where being intentional means that you're focused on that, and you're not going to stop until you get that, you know. And so for me, I think a placement with Ferg would be phenomenal. I think more placements with Caleb, just because he just signed to Def Jam, which means it's just, you never know how that's going to go. But I think for my personal, like, just outside of placements and stuff, I just really want to get better at, like, engineering. And so I've just been investing all my money into, like, just really the plugins, the outboard gear, and even, like, the tutorials, paying, like, some of the top engineers, like, paying them to mix my records so I could just sit in the sessions, you know. My favorite engineer is Jason Joshua. Does all the stuff for, like, Ty Dolla $ign, Hitmaker, like, you know, he did Despacito. But, like, I'm literally gonna pay $600 a song just to sit there and, like, watch him mix, you know what I mean? And so I think for me it's just investing even more into my craft and, like, learning from who I want to learn from, you know. And so, yeah, that's that.
Cool. Hell yeah, you found it last night, 12 o'clock.
Yeah, man, I was like,
that's crazy.
yeah.
Is
So,
your stuff, is your
Yeah.
info on the board?
yeah, Wontel Music.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
I want to
Yeah.
make sure.
I had met, when I went to Atlanta, I met this producer that came up to me. I was kind of shocked. And I was playing beats for him. And he was like, yeah, my name's Ace Harris. I produced for, like, Nicki and a bunch of other people. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. And then 5 years later, he just gives me a random call, like, yo, I just signed as an A&R for this label. Send me what you have. So it's like you just never know who you're running into, you know what I mean? And you keep those contacts. Also, if you ever get an artist email, don't lose it. I've lost the games and E40s. Like, going to in person, meeting them, handshake, give me the email, and I lost it on my phone, deleted it. I was like, damn. So, yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, that's important. Keep those emails.
Yeah, screenshot it, send it to a friend, do what you gotta do.
I'm not sending it to my friends.
Send it to your mom, you know what I'm saying, dad, somebody, you know?
You know, mom's
And
not
hey,
gonna lose it.
what you were saying, you don't have to live in a big area to make these. See, so I'm originally from Seattle, but I live in a little town called Elko, Nevada.
Real?
Because I work at a gold mine out there. They pay me hella money, so of course I'm gonna live out there because they pay me bank.
Literal gold mine.
Yeah, I work at a gold mine.
No, I was just saying, they're paying you bank a literal gold mine.
Yeah, so I mean, and I mean, how I got the Empire Records thing is I'm working with an artist from Seattle. He's gonna be a distributor to Empire Records. He's like, give me a list of people who I should get on the record. And I'm like, man, well, if you do Empire, you gotta get Mozzie. And he's like, man, I can't afford the fee. But he contacted Empire. Empire's like, well, here's a song that we never released. Sent me the vocals and said, have your producer make a beat, send it back to us. If we like it, we'll release it as a single.
Wow.
I sent it back to the label, and they were like, and that's hot, we're releasing it. And that was the one I played for you guys last week. I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
It's real.
Because I was just like, you push that send button, you're like, please, please.
So I'll introduce myself. I'm Toby. I go by lukeblood for music stuff, but I'm super happy everybody showed up. 4 months ago was when we started doing this, and it was Melissa, Cam, Sam, me, and like 1 or 2 other guys, Daniel and Zach. And so it's awesome. And every week we have new people. Like, there's been probably 20 people show up who aren't even here today. Maybe not that many, 10 people or something. So it's really awesome that everyone's been here. And it's the kind of thing where, like, a year ago I thought I was like one of 5 producers in Boise who is actually like trying to do something. And so to see everybody show up, to even just show up.
Bro, I thought that was the only one.
It's crazy. Yeah, yeah. Well, you were the only one probably back at where you were.
I guess that's true.
So out of my comfort zone, I made this for a podcast. The guy said he wanted something that was like, kind of like Stranger Things and that Night Call by Kevin Kavinsky. And so I kind of did something that's a little out of my comfort zone, and then I'll play you something a little more fun.
Wait, whose podcast did you make it for?
It's called... It's coming out soon. I'll give you the details. Flex sound kit. If you're on FL Studio, these are Flex sounds.
Definitely hear like a syncing off of that.
Yeah, and that's kind of one thing I've been told a lot is like my music fits well with syncing stuff. I just don't know. I don't get as excited about it as like working with artists.
What do
So
you mean by syncing stuff?
sync licensing stuff. So getting your stuff placed for ads or TV or
Oh, okay.
shows or whatever. So it's basically they're syncing your music with a show, like with other stuff.
I thought you wanted
It's
to
like
do
a whole
that.
other thing.
You wanted to be like the grandpa.
You can do both though.
Yeah,
funny
I mean
first.
you can do both. There's a lot of artists who have like a separate moniker or separate artist name that they sync through, and so they do like composition and writing and stuff, but it's kind of separate and it's like another source of income.
It's good money when it
Yeah.
places.
Sync licenses.
This other one is with an artist, Valid Point, that I've been working with a lot lately, and have been really excited about stuff. They just released an album. I played something from it last time, but this is like a new project. I sent them a beat, and he has this, and it has a feature on it. But so the vocal's not me, and I sent stems, so he did some mixing and stuff. But I don't think he changed much as far as the actual beat, other than just mixing it and putting vocals on. But so kind of opposite of what some of you guys have been talking about. My BPMs have been going up and up through the roof. Like I'm on this weird trend here, but this is not it.
Chasing these lies with the dollar sign. I had to put her in the grave for the very last time. I was in a dark place, now it's shining.
I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but you sometimes make something and it's just like, this is going somewhere. This is going somewhere good. So
It's good to have direction, especially like when starting out making something like, and you hear that and you're just like, I know exactly where to go
yeah,
with this.
yeah. And there's certain things that spark that, and certain things that don't. And so I have tons of projects that are like half finished or whatever, and I can't go back to them almost because they don't have that. And so, but I'll open up one. So I do go back through because there are some that I got interrupted or whatever, and it did have that, and I forgot about it. So
A lot of it's like hit and miss.
yeah,
Sometimes,
for
yeah.
sure.
Did you
Oh my
play
goodness.
any part in the artist's melody, or
No,
did he just
not on
find
this
that
one.
pocket?
Yeah, he just found it. I just sent the beat. So I send a lot of what I make to them now because he does record to so many of them, and we just have like a good energy. I
Yeah.
think back and forth. So
they
I
fun?
have done a little bit of here's a little vocal idea I got when he'll send me like a rough something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it fit. His vocals fit perfectly.
Yeah.
You guys have like a certain chemistry because I listen to some of the other songs too. You guys have like a good chemistry going on.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it feels like it. Like it's. I didn't realize like collabs for me for a while were just like, we make something and it's cool and then we move on. But for this, it's like, I feel like we both
Relationship.
kind of think it's better than it would have been if we were just working on it ourselves. So keep like looking for artists to work with where you're inspired by them and they're inspired by you. I think that's an awesome.
Is that who you played us last month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Are they from around here?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
He's in Memphis.
I was like, cause it's
That's crazy.
insane quality.
Yeah, for
And
Like,
this is like
that's radio.
this is like kind of a rough master that he's on me. He'll probably remaster it.
Could have fooled me.
I think I'm picking up what's going on. It's like, as audio guys, we all think it sounds like
Yep.
shit. But
Yeah.
everyone else, it sounds fine.
It is true.
No,
you could have
yeah.
stuck with master number 2 instead of master number 7, and it
Yeah.
would have
Yeah.
been almost as good, and you would have saved like a week of work.
Yeah,
Oh,
like, oh, this is
gosh.
final 1, no final 2, no final 3, 3, 3.
Yep.
Okay, this is fucking 8.
Like, wait, is it master or master final or real master? Or real master final 2?
Or this is the last time I'm touching this track, I'm done.
Yeah.
I've named stuff that, like, this is
Upload it
stop.
now.
Don't open this
The
again.
very last version of this song.
Gotta get it done.
For this year, I'm kind of trying to be a melody guy. I think kind of not rebrand, but focusing more on just making melody stuff to send to people, and then turning some of them into beats to send to artists too. But kind of like honing in on a melody sound for me, a style that I like and that kind of comes natural to me, and making kits basically, or collaborating with other producers and stuff like that. So anybody here looking for melodies, I've been making them, so I'll just
You
send
got
them
my
over.
email.
I'm excited to hear.
Mister.
I know I got like 2
Yeah.
projects I'm working on.
I owe you some,
You got
yeah.
my email too?
Yeah.
He asked me for
You
my
got
email,
cards,
and I gave
everybody.
it to him, then I heard nothing. I was like, wait, why did you want my email?
Yeah, that was for the video thing, so.
So
yeah.
is this like a Facebook group page?
So we have everyone who showed up, I've added to our Instagram chat,
Group
but
chat.
I'm planning to do like probably a Discord server. I have one set up.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody's on Discord or whatever, but yeah, it's like a better place, because Instagram, you post one thing and then like it gets lost right away. So having specific channels for topics or new music or whatever.
Dude, that's crazy, because last time I was here, I played a track, and you were, like, jamming out, and you posted, like, a Snapchat, because I think she took it.
Yeah.
And I was, like, super stoked, and I, like, watched it over and over, and I was like, damn, man, like, I actually made someone happy with this shit.
Totally.
And then it got deleted, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, we probably still have that.
Oh, you're
Brody, right?
Immortal
Yeah,
technique.
Brody.
He boxes
Brody.
before he
I go by
raps.
Rake. Like
That's
what?
fucking
Yep.
insane.
Little logo is like a trident, because I think the kind of irony of that, like it's a rake,
Right.
trident, whatever.
I respect that.
I don't really have a genre or anything. Not as much trap or hip hop as y'all, but
Alright.
We love
Drop
everything.
that shit.
Drop the beat.
entrance.
You play drums?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
exactly what I was
Sounds
gonna
like
ask.
you do.
Were those live or were those finger
that's completely keyed in. None of that is.
Wow.
That was all
What do
MIDI?
you,
Yeah.
what do you
Holy
produce
shit.
on?
I
What DAW do you use?
FL Studio 12.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
Wow.
I like the old
That sounded very live for FL
He
Studio.
uses
Yeah.
Ableton,
The
like.
pattern
Everyone
too
uses
with the
Ableton.
drums sounded very much.
I use
like
Ableton.
That's pretty nice.
Cool.
I like the way it goes.
transitions,
Once you get it, it's
especially
like-
like the end. The
Yeah.
fade.
Yeah.
My thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a kind of
Like
a
Ableton
nerd
is
for
more
like.
intuitive, so.
Tyler the Creator said this before, but he just likes chords.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like chords.
That's awesome.
So, thanks.
No, I heard the first part of that, and I was like, damn, this is like fast-paced game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
soundtrack. I listen to that
Cool.
stuff. too.
Everybody that I've shown my music to, they're like, yeah, it sounds like video game music. I'm like,
Really?
oh,
That's like
that
if you
makes
market it
sense.
that way, I feel like you could make something
Yeah.
off of it though.
Yep.
Like,
I like
for
the
real.
journey it took too. I like that there was
Yeah.
like 3 very distinct parts,
Mhm.
and that little breakdown part. I think everyone was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
'Cause it took a total turn.
It's like a story.
Yeah, that was
The
good.
middle part kind of
Yeah, thanks.
felt like a Death from Above, like 1975, like kind of thing going on. It was like more of an alternative rock kind of thing. Like,
Oh yeah, I could hear some.
Like I could hear some of that, but then like, cause like I know they use synthesizers rather than guitars, which is really interesting. Like I know they have a guitar, but the bass is all synthesized in their stuff. That's what that reminded me of. So.
I like the strings part.
Thank you.
Maybe
Strings
some waterfalls.
Yeah.
Well, and going back to sync licensing, and maybe that's my go-to for anything that's just like full and has beautiful chords and stuff like that. But man, that would be awesome. Like, and there's people who like. There's so many people into video games and retro video games and stuff like that.
And there's like a huge need for that too.
Yeah, for
like
their gamer channel or whatever. Yeah. But that's really cool. I like it a lot. Anything you're focusing on this year, any goals or something you're trying to achieve?
I just need to get better at showing my stuff to people because I have like zero audience.
Yeah.
So like marketing / networking myself, trying to get out there, get people to show my stuff because I've got stuff, but there's no audience.
Yeah, I hear you. A lot of us hear you.
We hear about it.
Yeah, cool. Well, this is a great step. I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, thanks guys.
First step is acceptance.
Yeah. Well, now that you know your music, you have skill. Your music is good. Don't let that hold you back, for sure.
Thank you.
So, yeah, great.
So, my style changes a lot, but I really like Flume. Flume's a big inspiration of mine. Got a little bit of J Doe. I like my drums loose, but then I also sometimes like them really stiff. It just depends on how I feel. But yeah, I tend to try to like start out playing my drums and then I build off from there. But I really don't have a set kind of thing. But yeah, this one's super rough, so but it's really slow too. So it needs some help. So anyone that can like give me some input, feedback, that'd be great. So
the name's Tate, by the way.
Yeah, the name's Tate, by the way.
And he goes by 80 HD.
Yeah, so 80 the number, and then high definition, like HD. So, yeah.
Like VCR, 80 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. I didn't actually think that far into it, but that works, yeah. I just thought, hey, ADHD, I'm hyperactive. I get distracted and shit, so that works.
I thought your name was Tate, by the way. He's like, this is Tate, by the way. Yeah, I'm Tate, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is my actual.
You could go rebrand 2020, Tate, by the way.
Tate, by the way. There we go. Hey, that works.
That's fine.
How'd you get your name? Oh, this random guy was one of Meetup.
For real.
Like 20 years ago. I've never spoken to him since.
So his name made like a loud click, I forget.
I think you'll be alright.
Alright.
Not too bad.
It wasn't too bad. I always get worried about that. I use an old hi-fi system as like my monitors, like some 70s kind of shit. And that thing, like, man, you connect something, you get feedback.
Yeah.
So you gotta turn everything off before you do that. But it works, so it's pretty level. Alright, so I don't even know how the mix is on this, but I'm just gonna play it anyways.
So everybody's.
So something's gonna be like super loud, but you'll probably notice. Oh, I'm using Ableton, so.
Finally.
Yeah. I've been looking for someone. I'm like, everyone here's using FL, man.
No, I
It's like
use
saying Studio One.
I use Studio One.
Studio
Yeah,
One.
I was like, I'm usually the only person using Studio
Well,
One.
not today.
I know. Thank you.
I don't know.
Voted best dog.
I don't know if there's Let's try it. They are a little
So
tight, yeah.
what I would say is like, if you want that loose feel, something has to be stationary so that it feels loose. Because if everything's loose, nothing's gonna be loose. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just kind of.
So it feels still tight because everything's loose.
So what I would do, well, no.
It feels like the drums
it
don't
feels-
have any
Oh.
like structure.
There we go.
So
Yeah.
it's like you can have your kick and snare quantized, but if you shift your hi-hats over like 1/16,
All right.
it's gonna feel that like not offbeat, but it's gonna have a more live.
Like a swing.
All right.
But another thing you can do is like keep your bass and your kick like on like perfectly quantized.
Yeah.
And then have just the snare hit a little bit before or after, or if you're gonna like, you know what flam is with like a snare and a clap.
Yeah.
So flam is like a normal snare is like doop, a flam is like, you know, like
Yeah,
something
yeah.
builds up to it. Like, anyway, you can do that with your clap, so it's like.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
if you do
I've
that,
done
that
that.
gives you that loose feeling. But if you keep your bass and your kicks like perfectly quantized, that's how you get it to feel that loose. but still on time. Everybody knows how to dance to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I feel like what was going on with my thing was this is like the beginning stages of an idea.
Are you on here?
I just had it all laid out. I'm like sure what to do.
Okay.
So that's why I brought it here to get some input.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, you're right, man. I am a little brave, man.
But if you want to get that flume sound, get that album and try to reproduce that shit. Like, get on there, try to make 5 of the songs that you like the most. Try to make them, try to remake them, and then you'll be like, oh, that's how he gets that sound.
Yeah. I don't know what else is on here. Like, I've worked on some stuff, but like, I don't know.
Are these like the project files you're looking for?
These are the project
Oh
files.
shit! I thought they were like.
No.
You were like, oh, some
like,
stuff's turned off. And I'm like,
on
what?
Ableton.
I'm on Ableton right
pull
now.
He's got a
Like, I'm pulling ideas from you guys, so hope you don't mind. But
Do you have an EQ on that kick?
Sounds
I was just gonna say boost it at 65.
Boosted at 65.
Have 5 dB up.
So this.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 dB.
Sounds really MIDI.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So what are you trying to accomplish with
I
that?
was gonna make it knock.
Are you gonna make it knock?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little too short, man.
It needs to thud more.
The 6, like, about 55 to 69 gives like that thump.
That low mid end.
Yeah.
Yes, right here.
I'm under
Right
pressure
here.
right now, so it's like I can't think. I'm like,
that's wrong.
I will tell you, this takes guts to open up a project.
Yeah,
like,
you're
working
opening up
on
a
it.
whole.
Man, I knew I needed some help,
So you
man.
want a shock break? Status.
Yeah, dude. God thumb.
Bringing that lower.
Yeah. All right.
And then I can tell you, if you cut out on the bass
When you
and
have something, you know,
Yeah.
some kicks sound good.
anything under 30,
All right.
it's just extra mud that doesn't need
That's
to be
true.
there.
That's true.
Did you say that on the kick or the bass itself? Both. Okay. Below 30?
I was like, that is me, huh?
It's unhearable.
Yeah, but it's
I thought it was 20.
it's like
hear
extra
it already.
movement.
That's
basically,
true.
but-
Yeah.
What's gonna help me too is use like a long, like if you use like a long sub bass.
I always forget how much like this EQ on here just cuts out real quick. So like, you bring it down a little bit. That's after you're cutting out like 6 best.
So what do you have any like goals or anything you're trying to?
So what I'm trying to accomplish is just kind of, you know, cause I've been kind of stuck in like a rut lately. I've been like just basically, I've been like haven't putting shit out because like I've been
Yeah, you gotta slide
lacking
that to him.
inspiration, and
I
I'm
got
hoping like
some.
bringing this open, you know, will help me get a little bit out of
Give
that.
me something I
but
can sing on.
yeah,
Do you listen to
I
music?
know where you're
I
at.
do listen to music, yeah, but
Like a lot?
a lot, yeah.
Try
Oh.
not listening to music for like a day.
One thing I was gonna recommend too, is I use reference tracks. So
Oh,
if I'm
yeah,
like
yeah.
making a song that is kind of inspired by a Lil Wayne song, I'm gonna listen to that song. Like I'm gonna press play on it, pause, and then start my song because it's like tuning a guitar to itself.
Yeah.
It's tuned to itself. In reference to itself, the beat sounds mixed and full, but in reference to an
Something
actual
Track, it
professionally
does.
produced, it doesn't. So that is going to help your trial and error because regardless of how you get there, what's important is you get from point A to point B. So like reference tracks, dude, saved my life because
Alright.
you're literally constantly comparing yourself. Is it loud enough? Is there enough low end? Because what I'm hearing is a beat that sounds mixed to itself. And in reference
Yeah.
to itself, it's fine. But if I were to play that next to anything else, it would
be
the
subpar.
low end wouldn't be hitting. It wouldn't. So like, I think reference tracks are gonna help you a lot too.
Alright.
Like, kind of have an idea.
I
of
have
what
done
you're
that in the
going for.
past. I was trying to, you know, I'm still in that phase where I'm trying to experiment with what my, you know, like my workflow and
Yeah.
stuff.
Trial
so.
and error, dude, is the biggest like teacher. But you got to know what your template is, what you're going for.
Yeah.
Because if you're just comparing your new beat to your last beat, you're gonna think, oh, it's
I'm just
great.
gonna be stuck.
Yeah,
you know?
but if you compare it to something that's out there, you know, it might help a little bit.
All right.
So do you, are you trying to release more stuff this year?
I'm trying to release more stuff, but like I said, I've been just kind of stuck in that rut, and that's why I'm like, you know, here. So.
Do like Cam and say every week or every 2 weeks, I'm just gonna upload this.
Dude, literally give yourself, like, be your own boss. Like, no,
Alright.
I have to clock in. No, I said I would get this done by Saturday. It, like, boss yourself around.
Yeah.
It will change your life. Especially if you have goals. And, like, the big thing about goals is incremental steps. Because you can be like, oh, you know, I want to get a ASAP Ferg placement. But, like, if that's just your goal and you're at point A, what are the increments to get there? Well, I know he's got a show coming up. I'm buying the meet and greet. Like, step by step. My increments are just time limits. Okay, every week this has to happen. That's my increment. I have 52 increments this year to work with before I get to point B. But if you don't set increments, you're never going to see your progress. You're going to think, wow, I still don't have, this, and this, but you haven't really checked off anything off your list.
It works to build a habit, too, because then it's like you're used to just going home after work and working on something or whatever it is. Like, after you've been doing that for a month or 2 months, it's just like you go home ready. You don't feel like, I got to decompress or whatever. You're like, ready. I'm going home and make something, work on whatever.
I'm actually trying to do the opposite of what a lot of you guys have said this year. I'm trying to stop listening to music. If I want to hear music, I have to make it. And I catch myself copying, and there's always going to be a new trend.
You get influenced by the wave.
And I always catch myself doing it. I'm like, oh, this is in right now. I'm going to make it this type beat. Yeah. For a while, I only listened to music that came out before like 2008, and I was just like, because everything new is only lasts a couple.
Type of stuff.
Yeah, I was listening to the Carter 3 and stuff, so it's like
that was the last good one.
Hey man, he's done no wrong in my opinion, but that's just.
What about his hair? Okay.
He needs to clean his dreads up. Is that what you're saying? He's got the one mega dread.
Big anaconda dread.
Dude, it's a pet. It's legally an animal. It's got a name and it has to get shots.
Antenna on top of his head. Sure, I can get a sick one out there. Cell phone tower.
He lost his keys in it one time.
Yeah, later we might rope some stuff or whatever.
So,
I don't want to give everyone a
sorry I took the seat. Had not prepared.
No, it's all good. It smells like I learned something. I had never thought about, like, because I don't do that much, like, loose play drums, but having, like, something giving structure to make the rest feel like it's, like,
I don't know what was up with this track, it just was not working. So, I guess, like, it was one of those tracks I spent, like, hours on, and, you know, those things that are just duds? Because, like, you spend hours on it.
It's not dud, man. It's not dud, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like, well, it feels like a dud, because it's boring.
Also, knowing when to say when. Like, if you've been working on a track for 5 days and it's just not, fuck it. Like, you're going to make, I try to tell this to artists, but for producers, it applies even more. You're going to make so much. If you plan on doing this as a career, Sherm can attest to it, you're going to make hundreds of these. Like, you can't get attached to them. You can't be like, no, this is the one. It's on to the next. If you want to do this for life and get paid doing it, you're going to make more music than ever sees the light of day. People are going to see 10% of what you've actually made. It's all done behind the scenes, dude. And knowing when, like, you know what, I spent 5 days on this song, it's not hitting, let's make a new one. And that next one you make, you could spend 10 minutes on it and it hits harder than the last one.
And I learned something, like, with music these days, like, the time span of people's attention is getting, like, shorter and shorter. Like, really, like, gotta make, like, 2-minute songs now. 10 seconds. Like, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Like, 3 minutes is like, oh, I'm not.
It's starting to get long, yeah.
It depends, though. It depends on what really gravitates their attention, like what gets them.
Even if you have like a hit song, you're lucky if it lasts a month, you know? Like,
No, you gotta come with another one. People are gonna get tired of it the second it's popular.
Exactly. They're gonna go search for some more.
You go by Chinese Cowboy on Instagram.
Wait, Chinese Cowboy.
I'll explain it. So
that's fucking fire.
That's great.
So I was actually born in China, and I moved to Boise, lived here for like most of my life. I was like, alright, got a little bit of influence from Idaho, Boise, stick that together. We got Chinese Cowboy.
We all love it. We all Western out here.
We love it.
So the song, I listen to a lot of like Playboy Cardi, Lil Uzi, so it's definitely influenced by that. I've been doing music for like 5 months, so not too long.
As an artist or a producer?
Producer. Oh, okay. Yeah, and I use FL.
said your inspirations, like that's literally who I heard.
Yeah,
Like,
I can hear Cardi on Playboy Cardi on that
For
sure.
real.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
crazy too.
I would not. Man, you don't want to hear the beats I made when I was doing this for
5
months.
Did you have musical ability before you started? Nothing, no
I
instruments.
like 6th grade
Oh.
general music.
Oh, okay, that's why. No, I'm just playing.
I was just gonna say, do you like really listen intently to music, or have like do you consider yourself to have like good musical taste? I mean, just listening preferences, or like how do you?
Can you tell if someone's tone deaf?
My earbuds up there.
Yeah. So like, I listened to music like way back before I like started producing, but like when I started, I like picked up on like certain parts of like the beat and like, oh, why they're doing this, where the placement of drums and melody and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know, just on like actually active listening instead of passive listening.
Right.
You know?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I just listen to music all day at work.
Okay, that's what I wondered. That can go a long ways. You're like noticing, wait, the hi-hat's doing this weird thing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
go try that on my next beat or something like that.
Yeah, you definitely gotta be active.
That's cool.
I'm actually going to do that because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try it on my next one.
What do you mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No.
Okay, man.
What's your Instagram thing?
Chinese Cowboy.
That's really cool. So,
oh, for sure.
On top of like the sound, I just like the name. Like,
Oh, the Rev?
I mean, yeah, that's a big deal though.
That's a wide.
Okay.
It's a lie.
My bad for not remembering.
Do you have like goals or anything you're trying to?
I mean, I just started, so I want to,
Yeah.
slowly pick it up.
Cool.
I mean, I don't really know too many like other artists or producers.
Yeah.
I'm literally like the only one that I kind of know.
Dude, that's that we were just talking about that. Like a lot of us felt that way starting out, and then we started coming to this. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Have you ever like recorded a song or just made beats or?
I just make beats on FL. Cause like before I got producing music, I was like really into like fashion, streetwear, stuff like that. You know, I'm pretty sure all of you guys are.
With this,
Then I was like, all right, what kind of stuff like can gravitate and translate over that's like kind of cool and catchy? Music, you know. So.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have music uploaded anywhere, or
I have SoundCloud, but
yeah,
a bunch of like all the other stuff I made.
Yeah.
Starting, so
okay,
it's not too good.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's Chinese Cowboy as well.
Word.
So it's all about that branding.
It's so easy to remember. I love it.
I want that shit.
I'm never forgetting that.
Yeah.
So that tag, I literally
Chinese
just
Cowboy.
typed it on YouTube, and it's like this 8-second clip of this chick that's like, "Hey, say this," and she just says Chinese Cowboy, and just chop it up, and just yeah.
That's good. That's a crazy tag. Very memorable for sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Amazing. Well, I'm glad you came, man. This is the first time here. I mean, honestly, half the people here, this is the first time they've come. Like, we haven't been doing this for that long, so it's awesome to see like how excited people are to show up and meet other people, and from people who are like just getting started to people who are serious and like really pushing this into a career path. Yeah.
I have an idea. This seems to be like a really good way for like a first timer, like coming to this. I mean, by first timer. And then it would be cool to have like different sessions, like, oh, we'll have five rappers and 2 beat makers or 3 beat makers come, and that'll be the session. You know what I mean? So we have time for everything.
For sure, yeah, and that's something I want to talk about a little bit. But like what we can do out of this, and potential like events or like one-off things where it's more like maybe a producer expo or like artists coming in and working on stuff together with them. So I think that's a great idea. Eric,
yeah, like
try it out. Anything you want to say?
It's in the house, but it's legit. Per request,
you have to come check
play the song.
Monday,
Friday. Yeah, this is being played at another one, and I honestly just want to hear it again.
And I'm in the studio 24/7.
I don't think most of you guys have heard it, so it's great.
All right, let's go.
Hold it on the dash, bitch. Baby, that's cash. New man's bitch. Used to be a fish for now she won't call me that. Baby, that's whack. Need a new man's bitch.
Yeah, it's a vibe, man. It's a vibe.
Okay.
No.
Oh. So, do you want to talk about that track at all?
Yeah. I made it like last year.
Bro, I would listen to that right. If you upload that right now, I'm listening to it.
Yeah. Oh, it's not even.
You made the beat too and the song?
Yeah, sure. I made the beat. It's me and my brother.
Is that you and Swanee?
No, it's Joe.
Joe, okay.
Triple C.
Okay.
Is that your brother?
Hmm?
Triple C's your brother?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, he's my god brother.
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
I know his dad.
You know Joey?
Johnny.
Johnny?
Yeah.
That's uncle.
Uncle. Okay. Never mind. I forget it's in.
How do you know Johnny?
I work with him kind of. I don't technically work where he works with. It's a very long story, guys.
Small world.
Alright, what's this?
So this is, again, I made this like a while ago.
Hold on. Where'd you get that fucking sax sample? Because that's long and it's dope.
That gave you like some 1950s type feel to it.
I know exactly what it is. It's pitched down and it's slower.
Ooh,
I love that sample actually.
That's dope.
I found that sample on Splice and I was like, that was the one, Captain. That was the one cheat. I was like, yo, this has to be it.
Should be good to go.
And then so, this is supposed to be on the project. I'm thinking about
Your upcoming project?
Yeah. I'm thinking about, cause I looped the verse twice, but I want to rewrite it.
He's just muting some of the.
doing some.
I made it.
Just numbers going on.
I record straight into FL. I was thinking about, like AC was saying he uses Reaper. I was thinking about using Reaper, but I haven't got to it.
Gotcha. Can I tell you the best software?
Huh?
The best software?
Oh.
Is it when you know how to use it?
Yeah.
I was gonna have to dig you for a second. I was
It's like there's no best software out there. But you're right.
Yeah, I'm a pencil.
That's awesome. Anything you're trying to.
God damn.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I've only recorded
in creating or more like putting stuff out there.
Garage Band and Audacity.
Was all like last year.
Moving on, bro.
I was putting out all my stuff. That's what I was
Did you just start doing that? Dropping those?
Yeah.
Songs?
Yeah.
You need to drop that other one though.
Yeah.
And we need to make 10 more and video.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm waiting on you. I was like, hey, you want to trade beats? Leaves me on red because you didn't have a beat. Could have just said, let me make one or something.
That's me.
It's crazy though. Like,
dude, where's the beat?
it's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep pushing. It's building a habit too, kind of like Cam was saying.
Yeah.
Make deadlines and be your own boss.
Like I used to be really good about that, like especially in high school. I
played one. It was
Yeah.
like half made.
All
I was
night.
trying to get
It's
some
hard, and
pointers.
it's almost like like you definitely get out of the habit. Like even just listening to music, I get in the habit of just listening to music, and then I don't like work on stuff or whatever it is. It might be as simple as that, but I want you to get in the habit because I want more of this stuff.
Dude, me too. I want to make it happen.
too good in it to not.
It's always hard to look
You're like in a petri dish right now, and I just want to keep feeding you, Brian.
Yeah.
I love those
verses
that you have
Yeah.
between the kick and the snare. Those are fucking fire.
That breakdown groovy as well.
I'm playing some more. Or?
Next. Yeah, pull up another.
Is that now?
The sounds I don't know what it is that you did, cause the sound selection like really made it feel light and like gave it this cool vibe that I wouldn't have expected if I just heard that those drums.
Yeah.
Like it's almost contrasting. I don't know, man.
It's bouncy.
Yeah,
there's a lot of it. It's very bouncy. I like it.
So you go by Bear?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm trying to find a name, you know, I mean...
Bare bones.
Bare bones?
Bear's cool.
Alright, Abram's saying that for
just come do all my kicks and subs.
That knocks, huh? That
my lord.
Yeah.
I have to rethink a lot of things.
Wow. Can you talk a little bit about like the underlying melody, and is that like a chopped up sample or whatever, or
sounds reversed?
Yeah, there's some reversing going on maybe.
Yeah.
And some
yeah. There's a lot of things. Usually what I do is like, cause I'm not really good at like making melodies, you know. But I'm you know the ear. I like the ear. So if I like hear something that I like a sample or something like that, then I'm gonna chop it up. You know, half time it, slow it down. You know, like just kind of play with it and like tweak it, like the EQs and stuff. You know, so.
More curating than finding or
yeah.
making it.
Yeah.
So and then you probably started then with that and then built around it? Or,
yeah.
Okay. Cause that was crazy. Whatever you did with that.
And then like the rest was all, drums and stuff, like sound selection.
Yeah.
Making sure like the snare was like the right snare.
Right.
You know, all that. So.
Sound selection was crazy for like perks and little fold
like
stuff.
the panning and shit. Yeah.
I like the vocal chop that you did in that with the percussion at the same time.
You want me to solo out some stuff, right?
Yeah, just that.
I'm taking off. Thanks, guys.
Cool, man. It was good to see you.
Good meeting you.
So I got like a pad,
Yeah.
It's like a glitchy, dude. It's like
Yeah.
glitchy.
Is that a gross beat thing or like a halftime thing? Or?
I think it's a gross beat thing.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Just with this, it's crazy.
You do a lot with that.
Just with this,
a lot of space in there.
You know what I hope becomes trendy one day? It's just music with no drums.
Yeah, because I can listen to this.
I love
with a little bit of change up. This alone is really good.
Dude, Drake's got a couple songs.
Yeah,
just no drums. I love that.
Huh?
You said it's a sample or what?
It's like a sample that I like, chopped up and tweaked myself. So I got that. I got that lead going on.
Where's the sound from?
Yeah, it's like a PS2.
Is it like an
There's like a stock plugin that I found on Market.
That shit right there. Dude, that's insane.
Yeah, like
That's crazy.
Those vocal chops are almost like a riser because when I hear those like I know it's about to like drop back.
Yeah, drop.
Then the bass slap the shit up.
Yeah, no, seriously.
I just
Oh.
like his vocals or whatever that down there. I had some reverb on it. Just kind of chopped it up.
Is that you?
No, it's not me. I can't see.
Do you use Splice?
Stop lying.
Do you use Splice at all, bro?
Do I do what?
Do you use Splice
Yeah,
at
I use
all?
Splice. Yeah.
What kick is that?
Shit, man.
Is that the Lex Luke? Is that the Sunny Digital?
I need to see
all
it.
this, I got so many packs, man. Like
I
I
need
wouldn't
to
say
know what
Splice
kick
not
that
the,
was.
like the only thing I use. I got like drum kits
Yeah,
from
that
like
fucking
online
kick
that I
is
buy, you know.
Dude, I'm
Or, like, they're for
obsessed.
free,
Like,
you
I'm
know,
not gonna
just,
sleep
like,
knowing that that's out
layer
there.
them or just leave how they are.
And I could have it.
It might be from Splice. I don't know. I got so many kicks and stuff.
You're like, here's my stems with
stress
no
too
kicks.
much, though, like, because a lot of kids are just like
Add some kicks.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Holy God.
Probably like 20 kicks with that same one.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and play something, and we'll need to set this up. We'll have to figure out audio. Go ahead and hit play though on something else.
I have a 1/4 inch adapter.
Okay.
If that helps.
I don't know where I'm going with this. Ooh, very lo-fi.
Some lo-fi shit.
I know, what it is. Just
It's gonna be through here, which is. If it is on there, we can plug it in. So we've all kind of been talking about stuff we're trying to. Is it cool if I play?
There you go.
Stuff we're trying to work on, or like
Goals.
kind of a goal, yeah, for this year. Do you have anything you're really pushing for?
No, it's really I'm not sure if anybody has kids or anything. You got family or anything? You got kids?
Mm-hmm.
My thing is that like I got a kid and stuff, I got a wife. It's really hard to like manage both. You know what I mean? Like family and the music. You know, so I mean my goal is just like just make fire. You know what I mean? Like if you got heat, go on a network. I mean, just give me the opportunity and I'll be on.
Music to speak for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That shit's fire.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Cool.
You have like such a good ear for percussion. I'll tell you
thanks,
that.
man.
Like,
Yeah.
every
I
single
love
one of those
percussion,
pieces
man.
with percussion
Dude,
was
yeah,
fucking
they're all
fire.
Yeah, appreciate that.